Morning, everybody. Welcome to today's presentation from our friends from the Innovation for Defense. My name is Shauna Morningbull. I'm the Manager of Business Development at Community Futures Treaty 7. I'm also the Alberta Board Member for CANDO and recently elected the Secretary Treasurer, which I'm looking forward to the role for the next year. It's a bit cold out, but you know what? That never hurt us. We're Canadians and we expect it. So I just ask that if you're not speaking, just keep your mute, keep on mute, and maybe sometimes for the broadband, if there's a little bit of glitching, then just turn your video recorder off. But with that said, I will hand it over to the fabulous Michelle Nivadomi, and she will introduce our guest speakers for today, and enjoy it. Thank you.
Thanks, Shauna. Well, welcome everyone. So it's Tuesday morning. So this is the Alberta Links to Learning webinar that you have joined. But really, we welcome anyone to join us. You don't have to be from Alberta. So my name is Michelle. I'm from Amiskwaci, Waskayagan. Well, that's where I live. Treaty 6 territory, Edmonton, Alberta. My roots are in Saskatchewan. Really honored to be here. Really honored to listen to our guest speakers this morning. This morning's conversation is around the Innovation for Defense Excellence and Security, so IDEaS. It's this from the Department of National Defense and Public Service Procurement Canada. So since its launch in 2018, IDEaS has been posting challenges for the Canadian innovation community. The various elements of IDEaS, which include competitive projects, contests, innovation networks, sandboxes, and test drive, are going to be used to present these challenges to you. So the program is looking for your solutions to support the development of defense and security capabilities. IDEaS fosters open innovation to provide creative thinking with the structure and support to encourage solutions which will assist in solving some of Canada's toughest defense and security challenges. IDEaS will support the development of solutions from their conceptual stage through prototype testing and capability development. The program includes several elements that promote collaboration between innovators, provides developmental resources, and provides opportunities to interact with DND's science and military members, through which all innovators are on an even playing field to solve specific defense and security challenges. So I feel like we're really in for a good treat. We're going to learn some new things for me. I'm always up for that challenge. It sounds really interesting. So looking forward to this morning's presentation workshop. There will be an opportunity at the end for questions, for dialogue. So we would really love to hear your voice. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Even using that chat box throughout the presentation is a good way to, if you have an idea or if you have a question, feel free to use that chat box. Our guests today is Mr. Eric Fournier and Sophie. So just to give a little glimpse of who our presenter is, he seems like a really humble man, but as I read his bio, he has a lot of experience and knowledge that he brings to the table. So just a little glimpse of that. Mr. Fournier is presently the Director General Innovation for the Assistant Deputy Minister, Science and Technology. He is a scientific advisor to the Department of National Defense and to the Canadian Armed Forces. So his role is to ensure that Canadian Armed Forces development of national defense have access to the most cutting-edge solutions for their challenges from Canadian innovators. I believe we have his bio on our website. So if you want to read more about this amazing gentleman, feel free to go check our website, our CANDO website. And his partner in crime today is Sophie. She's the Engagement and Outreach Officer. So we just welcome you to our webinar this morning. The floor is yours. So I'm not sure, Sophie, if...
Yep, I'm sorry. I just see that we lost Eric.
Yeah, I see that too.
So we're just gonna give him a few minutes to sign back in.
Sounds good.
Sorry about that, guys.
No, you know, that's technology for you. We love it, but you know, it has its moments.
It does, actually.
I want to remind you that there is going to be an evaluation link sent to you after today's webinar. And if you take that time and fill out that evaluation and lend your voice, your feedback, your name will be entered to win. I think it's a Visa gift card. I believe the value is $400 and there's 2 of them. So you have a chance to win one of those. So feel free, feel motivated to fill out those evaluations. As I'm trusting that he will find his way back here. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you had, for us here in Emiskwichi-Waskagan, the weather turned. I think it was on Saturday. We've been really blessed with a really mild winter, but the weather, winter, frostbite, cold is here again. So, you know, in these weather conditions, we really think of our vulnerable community, you know, and a lot of our people struggle with homelessness and living on the streets. So, you know, as you go along your way in your day, feel free to offer a prayer or a good intention, good energy to, you know, our people who struggle with homelessness and poverty and low income. I really think about our community in this cold weather. So something to pray on this week. So if you're here, feel free, as we wait for our guest speaker, feel free to use that chat box and let us know where you're coming from, where you're listening, where you're joining us from this morning. We'd love to meet you. We'd love to hear who's on this morning.
Sophie, maybe if he's not coming on right away, you want to present and then just give it to Eric when he's online?
Actually, I'm just gonna do a quick call and see if I can grab him and see what's going on, just to double check. And then I'll, if he's not able, then I'll give you guys a presentation.
Okay. Okay, so Michelle, thank you very much for the introduction. And by the way, great introduction, and you probably stole a lot of my thunder, so I'll see what I can do here to surprise some people. First, I'd like to wish you good morning. Thank you very much for your time today. I have a long deck, but I don't plan to use all of those slides, and Sophie will be turning them when I need her to turn them. So good thing we're working 2 of us together. As you can have heard, I've been disconnected, and I'm working from phone, and Sophie will be taking care of the slides. It's an opportunity that I'm offering today. IDEaS is a program developed by National Defense to reach out to innovators in Canada, all of them, small, medium enterprises, individual people, big companies, academia, non-for-profit organizations. The only people who cannot participate into IDEaS are federal civil servants. So people like me, I cannot participate, but I can lead it. So that's what I've been doing for the last few years. Launch in 2018, as Michelle mentioned. So developed in 2017, launched in 2018. Since then, we've been getting a good response by innovators across Canada. So we've launched a series of challenges. I'll talk to you a bit later on. We have all of the thousands of proposals we have received, about 60% were from small, medium enterprises. About another 20% were from academia, so universities and colleges. About 15% were from big industry, so the big companies of this world, and about 5% from non-for-profit. So a pretty good distribution across the innovators across Canada. So we're very happy with that distribution. So how does it work? Well, national defense defines challenges. So we go to the Air Force, to the Navy, to the Army, all of the stakeholders in national defense, and they define requirements, they define their needs for us. We turn those needs into challenges, and we then post them on our webpage. IDEaS is fully challenge-based, so I just mentioned, and also web-based as well. So all of our stuff is on our webpage, so you can find on IDEaS Defense on the web. We put there all the challenges when we launch some. We also put all of our information about the program. We put all the recipients, hundreds of people who have gotten contracts from us so far. So everything goes on our webpage. Lots of information to be found there. At the same time, if you are on our webpage, why don't you register to our mailing list? We have a mailing list where we advertise all of our challenges, all of our processes, so you won't miss anything. Another important thing about IDEaS is that, and it's very interesting for innovators, the intellectual property stays with the innovator. So we don't take that away. We work with you guys. We'll get a license on that intellectual property, but you maintain your intellectual property so you can grow. That's what we want. And also, all of the challenges that we push out now are unclassified. So it's all done unclassified work. So Sophie, let's start turning some slides. So let's go on slide number 2. The new defense perspective. So announced in 2017, as I mentioned, it's a large program, $1.6 billion over 20 years. So approximately every year, we have between 80 and $90 million to connect with innovators across Canada. So we use that money to support innovators, and you'll see the type of tools we have developed to do this. So Sophia, go to the next slide, please. So why defense, security, science, technology? What's different today? Why launch something like IDEaS? Some of you might know DRDC, Defense Research and Development Canada. So that's an entity inside National Defense. It's a large entity, 1,500 people, a budget of around $300 million. And those guys do all the science for national defense. However, even with that, because the RDC will still exist even if IDEaS has been launched, there's still something missing. We needed to do more, and that's why IDEaS was launched. If you go back in time, if you go back about 80 years in the 1940s and 50s and early 60s, most of the science in the world was being done by government laboratories, NRC in Canada, so National Research Council, the energy labs in the US, the defense labs in the US. So 80% of the work, science, done by them. Move up 80 years to today, and that decreased to 20%. All of it now is being done by, or most of it is being done by other researchers. So it'd be small industry, big companies, academia does a lot as well. So the important line through this slide is the last line, globalization of science, technology, and pace of technological development. More and more technology is being developed by people in their garage, in their basement, in their small labs. And to make sure that we have the best solution, well, we need to connect with those people. And that's why IDEaS was launched. It's an augmentation to the RDC for us to get access to science technology. Next slide, please, Sophie. So slide number 4. So the program has got 4 pillars in a way. So the first one, recruiting innovators, it's outreach, and that's what we're doing today. For us in IDEaS, the more people who know about the program, the better we are, because that allows more people to see the challenges that we develop and allows more innovators to submit proposals to those challenges. So allows us to get better ideas, better suggestions, better projects in a way. So now we do that regularly. Every year we maintain a fairly busy schedule of meetings like we do today with you guys, conferences, symposium, and all that. Now, when we have the interest of people and they know that we exist and they're on our mailing list and they know our webpage is there, then we need to support innovation, that second pillar. And to support innovation, it means we need to fund projects that people give us. So we have developed tools, and you'll see them in a couple of slides. So we've developed 5 tools to connect with innovators, some of them to give contract to innovators, some of them to work with them to develop new technologies. There's all kinds of things. That goes to the third pillar, which is maturate that innovation. So we need to allow or provide innovators with an opportunity to demonstrate their solutions. So we want them to be able to showcase what they've done. And we have developed 2 tools for that. And in a minute, we'll get to that as well. So a fairly extensive program, so $90 million per year, and with 5 tools to connect with innovators. Sophie, next slide, please. So slide number 5. And this is where you see IDEaS. IDEaS is a big shell, really, and which is this slide, where you have many pieces connected to it. So I'll spend probably a good 10 minutes on this slide because there's so much information on it. So first, on the top left corner, DND CAF, so Department of National Defense, Canadian Armed Forces priorities. This is our source of challengers. This is where we get our input from National Defense to showcase challenges for you guys. So we will go to them about once a year, and we get their requirements. What do they have issues with? What's their problems? What's keeping them awake at night? And we get those requirements, transform them into challenges, and you see the point there, innovation challenges. And from that innovation challenges, we build those various tools to allow us to do defense capability. If you look at this, at the bottom right, defense capability. IDEaS is not going to be measured by how much money we give innovators or by how many contracts we sign or any of that. It's really based on what capability, capacity we will provide to Canadian defense, national defense. So we need to do that. Money and contracts is not how we're going to be measured. It's really that capacity. So let's step back a little bit and look at those 5 domains of work or tools or elements. So we have 5 of them: competitive projects, contests, innovation network, sandboxes, and test drive. And I'll take a few minutes to go through each one of them. Competitive project is the workhorse of the program. It's really the place where we spend more money and probably more efforts every year. Probably spend between $40 and $50 million per year in competitive projects. It's a very, very simple process. We post a challenge on our webpage. People see it. They go and they'll download the templates to make a proposal. They make the proposals. So we collect all of those proposals because for every time we launch a challenge, we have many proposals. We evaluate them and we award contracts and it starts. Now, competitive projects got an interesting twist. We don't only award one contract per challenge. We award many. In one case, one challenge we've done in the past, we awarded 16 for one specific challenge. So competitive project starts this way. So a first phase, up to 6 months of work, up to $200,000. And we say, here's to a whole bunch of people, here's the first contract and start developing your idea. You came to us with a solution to that challenge. Well, show us, what is it? After 6 months, they all come to an end. We'll look at their proposals at that point. We say, okay, out of the number that started, we'll select a smaller number and we'll give them up to a year and up to $1 million to continue their work. So competitive projects is 2 phases minimum, and we start many, and then we slowly weed out to make sure that we end up with the great solution in the end. So that's the game changer in the end. So that's the first tool that we have. The second tool that we have, contests, is really something different. In this case, we say, here's a challenge. Again, on our webpage, here's a challenge. If you can solve this, we'll give you an amount of money for that technology. We're not talking about giving you a contract, so we work with you. It's really, you solved it, great, here's a prize for you. We have one contest available right now. Well, available, it's working right now. It started almost a bit more than a year ago. It's called the Pop-Up City. It's for development of a relocatable camp for the Canadian Armed Forces. And if you go on our webpage, you'll see how it works and how we develop technology as we go along in that contest. Others will follow in the future. So another interesting tool. The next one is called Innovation Network, and that one is a bit of an interesting spin as well. In this specific case, we identify challenges where we need to do research that will need to continue for a long time. We have developed two so far, one on advanced materials for protection, and one on autonomous system, so human-machine interface as well. So in this specific case, the network, we're asking people to work together so that they develop teams to apply to the proposals, and then we reward them by giving them money for a number of years. Right now, we have a number of what we call macro networks. They regroup 5 to 12 people, and they each get $1.5 million for 3 years to progress their technology in those specific domains. Innovation network, they have to be built around a university. So a university has to be the one making the proposals, but they have to bring some of their partners. So they need to bring industry, they need to bring other academia. So we are requiring them to build a network when they make those proposals. That's why we call them networks. So we have two that are out there. The next one, which will be published potentially in the April timeframe, is around the Arctic, talking about people and infrastructure in the Arctic. So that's the next one we're looking into. After that, there'll be one on ocean and potentially others as time passes. So Sophie, no, sorry, I'll keep going on the next two. So Sandboxes. Sandboxes is a different ballgame as well. In this specific case, we're changing the level of technology we're looking at. In this specific case, we're talking about having a prototype. So someone can come and showcase what they have done for us. So as I mentioned earlier, we have two tools like this to allow people to demonstrate their solution. In the case of a sandbox, again, we post a challenge on our webpage and tell people, if you can showcase your results for this, come and show us. We've used it once already, and the next one is coming in June 2021. So we use it to do a counter-drone experiment or demonstration where we ask people that had technologies to detect and defeat drones to come and show us how it worked, to demonstrate to us their technology. So in Suffield, Alberta, we built a large area with cameras, with sensors, high-speed cameras and radars, and we had developed a fleet of drones. And those people came from all around the world because for that specific sandbox, 12 companies were selected, with 6 Canadian and the other 6 were from other countries. They came, installed their technologies. We flew drones at them, looked how their technologies worked. They got feedback from our users, and we got knowledge from their technology. The next one coming up in June 2021 is looking for technologies to find rust on ships. So it'll happen in Halifax with the Navy, and there'll be others in the future as we get more challenges out there. The last tool that we have, and we just launched that one, is Test Drive. Test Drive is really the next step. At that point, we're talking an advanced prototype or even a pre-commercial product. So what we say to you in this case is, here's a challenge. If you can deliver on this, we'll acquire your solution. We'll buy it, and we will evaluate it. So we'll buy it, and we'll give it to our military personnel to go and test it in the field. We're not going to buy fleets of it, but we'll buy enough for us to be able to test it and understand your technology. So Sandbox and Test Drive, in a way, are demonstration tools. Sandbox, the innovator does the demonstration, and Test Drive, we do the demonstration. So that's it's a full circle of what we do in IDEaS. So we have the 5 tools that we have. all 5 of them have been launched. We've had challenges with each one of them. Right now, there's a test drive open for information on our webpage, and it's about developing new solutions to heat buildings. So National Defense has many buildings in Canada, and we're looking for better solutions for that. So there's some information on our webpage on that one. Sophie, let's go to the next slide, slide number 6. COVID-19, everybody's got hit by that. Our program was hit as well. So first I have to apologize. In the fall of 2019, we closed a call for proposal using one of our tool competitive projects. In March 2020, right when COVID-19 pandemic started, we were at the point of awarding about 70 contracts. And we had to put all that on hold as people were sent home. And as people got access to computers and were able to start working again, what we decided to do is use some of our tools, some of our capacities to work on COVID-19 issues. So I'm apologizing because the people who were part of our call for proposal number 3, instead of getting their contracts in March, April 2020, they just got them in October, November, because for a long time we worked on COVID-19. So sorry about that. Won't happen again. Well, if there is no more COVID-19 at some point, but anyway. We awarded those contracts with about 6-month delay because we focused some time on the COVID-19 pandemic. So what did we do for COVID-19? Well, we did some direct funding. So we sat down with the National Research Council, with Health Canada, with the Public Health Agency of Canada, and we had Canadian companies come to us and show us how they could help Canada in the fight against that pandemic. And because of some of the tools that we have, we were able to fund them directly. So we funded some decontamination tool of N95 masks. We fund some companies to develop advanced respirators. So we funded all kinds of technologies that could be useful for the country. Following those direct funding, what we did as well at that point is we held some calls for proposals. So looking at what we had seen, we realized that we had some shortcomings in technology. So we launched 4 challenges from moral trauma related to COVID-19 for people, for first responders working in long-term care facilities, data for decision-making, decontamination tools, and things like this. So we've launched all those challenges, and we have now close to 50 innovators in Canada working with us on those solutions. So lots of progress that we've done on COVID-19. Sophie, next slide, please. So slide number 7 is talking about what's coming from IDEaS in the next few weeks, few months. So as I mentioned first, I apologize, but we're all done catching up. So we were behind awarding all of those contracts that people who won those challenges, but we're all done, and now those people are also working with us. The pop-up city contest continues. So just before Christmas, we closed 1 round of it, and we're coming to a Dragon's Den, but we're not supposed to use the word Dragon's Den. It's copyright. So a pitching event at some point for round 3 at the end of February. What's very interesting is the third point here. So through some of the development, I'll take a specific example. Our first call for proposal, we had a small company from Ottawa with an office in Fredericton as well, develop a very interesting solution on cyber attribution, so cyber defense. They went through round 1 and round 2, got up to $1.2 million, developed a great solution, and in the end, after their round 2 and $1.2 million of funding, they had almost a product. They were at TRL 8, so almost a completed product. And they come to us and said, so what can we do? And we said, well, we'll offer you a test drive. And we purchased their technology for a few $1 million. And now we have the special forces are using the technology for the next 2 years. It's the first time. I mean, we've been able to start with a challenge that came from the special forces on cyber attribution. We announced it to Canadian Innovators. Innovators came to us, offered solutions. we funded several, and then only one developed to a game changer. That game changer, we said, well, let's acquire it, and now it's in the hands of the Canadian Armed Forces. So this is the model that we want to follow in the next few years. And so we've done one. We've done the second one since then. So just before Christmas, we closed another one. And I expect we'll see more and more of those development happen in the future. So helping innovators develop something and then acquiring it and giving it to the Canadian Armed Forces. Earlier on, I mentioned that everything that we do in IDEaS is unclassified. So officially, when we launched the program, it was all unclassified. Now, the minister said that he wanted to see a classified piece for IDEaS. So we decided to develop a new stream. It's going to be a classified stream for IDEaS. We're going to announce it to industry next week. We're going for a request for information to industry. So for industry to look at what we're proposing as a program and give us their input. And then we'll modify the program and then we'll start using it. And a few more things that we have on our drawing table that we will keep developing in the future, next few weeks, few months. So Sophie, next slide, please, slide number 8. So what have we done so far? Well, so far we've launched 56 challenges. Those challenges, you might say, oh, it's all technology. Well, no, we cover all kinds of things. Challenges can cover from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, moral trauma, the human performance in the north, sensors, space, cyber questions, ballistic protection. I mean, there's if you look at the list of the 56 challenges, and those you can easily see on our webpage under past opportunities, you'll see that we cover all kinds of domains, and we'll keep doing that in the future as well. So we've committed more than $145 million so far already, and that's increasing every month. We're working hard at engagement, and that's what we're doing today. So this week many times. So every week, every month we do engagement, and we have developed a list of more than 5,000 innovators on our distribution list. And that's why I said earlier, if you go on our webpage, why don't you take a minute to register on that list? That way you'll get information when we launch challenges and things like this. We have many entities funded, small companies, big companies, academia, non-for-profit, and again, you can see all these on the webpage. Usually, I stop there and I tell people, okay, there's another 20 pages in that deck, so you will be able to look at it later on. But I'd like to walk you through one case. So if you want to go to slide 10, so a first call for proposal that we did for competitive project, and go straight to slide 11. Persistent maritime surveillance. So if you build that slide, Sophie, you'll see that we have received 49 proposals. So when we launched that challenge, we received 49 proposals. There were several good ones in there. Okay, so everything was evaluated, consensus was done, and then we accepted 16 of those proposals. So when I was saying earlier that for every challenge, we fund more than one project, in this specific case, we funded 16 because 16 of them had solutions that for us were worth investigating. All of those solutions were interesting for us. So if you go on slide 12, and the next two slides are together, 12 and 13, those are the 16 companies or entities that receive funding from us. That you can see that on our webpage. So you have the title of the company, the title of the project, at the same time how much money they got to deliver on that project. Then I'll ask Sophie to go quickly through page 13. So the other 8, you see again 8 of them, and to go to slide 14. Now, as saying earlier, competitive projects has got 2 phases. So a first phase up to 6 months, up to $200,000. Okay, when those 16 got to the end of their 6 month, we held a meeting. So the Navy and IDEaS, and said, okay, looking at those 16 proposals here, which one has developed to a point where it could be a game changer for you if it would be available on the market? And the Navy picked 4 of them, and you can see them on slide 14. So 4 of those technologies, solutions, projects from Canadian Innovators ended up being funded, and they're there. And they received up to a year to continue their work and up to $1 million. And they're right now progressing that work. So you can see, I mean, you've seen a full case of how IDEaS works using one of the tools, competitive project. So at this point, I'll stop talking because there's another 15 minutes left and see if there are any questions. And the rest of the deck, as I was mentioning earlier, it's all about the various tools that we have, more details, more information, and information about the various calls proposals that we have proceeded with as well. So I guess I'll go back to Michelle to see if there are any questions, and I'll be very happy to take any questions.
Oh, well, thank you so much. You have enlightened us all about what IDEaS is. I really sense that it's really a call for innovators, creators, problem solvers to come and offer solutions, offer their ideas. Wow, it's extraordinary. Thank you so much for sharing. So anybody have any questions or comments? We'd love to hear from you. I also was wondering if, Sophie, maybe you could you could type in the chat box the web page. I'm not sure that I caught it.
Yes, I'll send it right away.
That would be a good resource for us.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. As I was mentioning at the beginning, most of the information that I've talked about is on the web page. Information about each one of the tools, as you mentioned, those 5 tools at the beginning. Information about the challenges, the 56, they're all there. With the challenge themselves, people can really see what we have launched. And recipients, because we're very transparent. People, when they sign something with us, know that their names and the title of their project will end up on the web. So we do this so people can see who is working with us and potentially to collaborate in future.
Great. I think that's great. I don't know if you were interested in that website. It did have there was a quick slide on it. I missed it, so I can't type it out. But that would be a good resource for you if you're really interested in this, going back and looking and checking out, some of the projects that they did fund, and it's remarkable. Shauna, do you have any thoughts, comments as we close?
Well, I was quite intrigued. I was like listening, and I too would like the website. I have a few ideas and some references that I would definitely like to, get the website referred on to, because this is awesome. Like, this is awesome from everybody from coast to coast to coast, right? Like, I think everybody. So I'm glad that this is going to be presented. Times. I'm going to get on the, on the emails and what have you, and send it out and say, you know what, you definitely need to have. But again, thank you. If there's any other comments from Daniel or Tyrell, that would be, if not, then we'll go back to challenge and close off.
Yeah, sure. I can kind of ask a question or kind of comment on things. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So yeah, I think it was. Who was it? I think this is directed at the speaker. So is there any like technology around land monitoring defense? I guess I see a lot of like monitoring of cyber attacks or attacks on Canada or whatever. But like, is there any like, I'd say, drones that have good I'd say say monitoring of pipelines for spills or oil spills in water. Like, I'm sure there's some kind of sensor that picks up on that reflectance. So is there any technology that you guys have been focused on that side of things, say like water health,
In a
fish
way,
health, animal health?
okay. Thanks for the question, and it's an interesting question. So, in a way, what we do is that our challenges are fairly are a bit broad. So that if you do have technologies to look at, for example, as you mentioned, pipeline leakage and things like this, it's for you to look at the expertise that you have and see if you can apply it to some of our challenges. For example, we had a company, a drone company, that was looking for failure in buildings. After an earthquake, the drone had some kind of a sensor that they'd fly along buildings to identify cracks and things like this. Our challenge on helping identify rust behind panels on ships, they proposed their solution. They had never done that. They've never thought about working on corrosion, but they thought, why not? And they submitted a proposal, and we'll see if they get evaluated inside of the so because that could close just before Christmas. The evaluations of the proposals is happening about now, but I'm looking forward to see if our experts see if it's worth evaluating, because I think they took their expertise and they went out of their zone of comfort and applied it on a new problem. So to me, that's what IDEaS is allowing people to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So if you're working on, as you mentioned, maybe spill detection on pipelines, or what could it be used for? I mean, the technology itself, the knowledge, the expertise, and think about it this way when you look through the challenges. So right now there's nothing open, but soon in March, April, there'll be other challenges. So keep having a look at the challenge that we'll push forward. That's a good question, though.
Yeah. And well, in order to, I guess, run these drones, you need, I guess, big data and like localized processing stations, substations, right? And so I guess the Arctic would be a good place to start too, because it's so far away from Ottawa that they're building these massive like fiber optic lines, right, to move these data. So like it'd be nice to even focus on regionalized big data collection and communications, instrumentation, comms.
One of our challenges that we've launched, so that one has already been launched. Our call proposal number 2 was on communications in the Arctic and potential solution. I mean, it was, again, the challenge was fairly broad. So we're talking about communications in the Arctic as a topic. So you cover a lot of ground that way. And we're asking people, so do you have ideas to help us? And I think we were looking for solutions like this about how to replace the fiber optic in the north. It's so large. How can you do this? So I invite you to have a look at that challenge and the proposals that we have received, because they're posted there, like the winning one. And have a look at the title.
Great. I'll take a look.
Awesome. Tyrell, where are you from?
Sucker Creek First Nation, but I live in Edmonton.
Okay. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Daniel, do you have any questions before we close up?
Thank you for asking. No, I'm actually a public servant. I work for Public Works and Government Services. So we do some support for the IDEaS program in our region.
Okay, good stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess with that, we'll close off, and I'll hand it over to Michelle to close off and do the thank you. But I want to send my thank you out to you guys. This was so enlightening. And just one quick thing, is the intake ongoing, or are there deadlines that I could find on the website?
Every time that we launch challenges, each challenge has its own deadline. So right now there's nothing open, but when we launch something, usually we allow people about 30 days.
Okay.
So it rolls fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Right now, one of the reasons we don't have any challenges out right now, and probably not till the end of March, we're doing a collection exercise with our stakeholders. So we're working with the Air Force, the Navy, the Army, Special Forces to collect their requirements. We're doing that right now. and it'll take us a month or two to define new challenges, and then we'll start launching again. So my advice is to go register on our mailing list, because you won't have to go and check. As soon as we launch something, the system will warn you.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. So I saw that Sophie had put the link in the chat box. So with that, thank you guys, and I'll pass it over to Michelle for some closing words.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that this is solution-based. Tyrell, I really appreciate your comments, your question, particularly around the land and the pipeline and the oil spills. And I say to you, follow that thread. Where could that lead you, right? It's all about, the innovation, the creative mind, the thinking, the ideas of solutions from the community. This is brilliant stuff. So thank you so much. I realize time is so valuable. And so I thank you so much for you to lending us your time this morning and sharing with us. Like, I had never heard of this. And it's amazing. It's brilliant. So thank you so much. Anything that we can do to create, stronger, wherever we are, stronger communities, stronger people, is so important and so necessary and needed. So thank you so much. We give thanks to Creator for the gift of another day. As that sun rose in the east, it was a promise of a new day. So what you do with this day, may it be done in love, in honor and respect to yourself, to your spirit, to the circle, the community that's around you, to the land, to the water, the animals, the plants, and to honor Creator. So we give thanks for the gift of this moment, this opportunity to learn, and hopefully ideas are stirring within you. Make sure you check out that website. Make sure you get on their mailing list if this is something of interest to you. Thank you so much for being here. We honor all of you. I say to you, I thank you. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Michelle. Bye-bye.
Thank you.